All right, so get this, ever feel like you're stuck in these big, messy arguments, the kind that have you going round and round, and you're not even sure you're arguing about the right thing anymore?
Oh, absolutely. Happens all the time.
Well, that's what we're diving into today. We're going to try to untangle this whole mess with something called ArgDown.
It's like, okay, imagine bringing this super organized system to a debate.
Okay, I like that, a system for a debate. But instead of a podium and a gavel, we've got text.
Yeah. Text-based argument mapping, it's a game changer.
I gotta be honest, most argument mapping stuff I've seen is all about visuals, diagrams.
Right, and those have their place, for sure. But think about it this way. You're working on this super important project, tons of different opinions flying around. ArgDown lets you actually map it all out, right there in your document.
Hold on. So it lives in your work, not like a separate tool.
Exactly. It becomes part of how you think and write, not this extra thing you have to do on the side.
Okay, now that I can get behind, for sure. But I gotta admit, this whole text-based thing, it's like, I don't know, trying to explain a painting using only emojis?
I hear you. It sounds a little abstract at first. But remember how Markdown made writing for the web so much easier?
Markdown, yeah. Oh, yeah. I love me some Markdown.
It's like that, but for arguments. You basically use a really simple system of symbols and formatting to structure your arguments.
Okay, so, like hashtags. Give me a for instance here. How does this ArgDown magic actually work?
Even simpler. Plus and minus signs. Let's say your main argument is, this deep dive is amazing, right?
Bold statement,
Yeah.
but I'm with you so far.
So underneath that, you could add DNK, plus it's incredibly insightful for a supporting reason. Or it might make my brain hurt for an objection.
Okay, I see. So you're basically building this outline, but with pros and cons all laid out.
Exactly. And you can get even more specific with things like statement titles and argument titles to organize your thoughts even further.
Okay, now those sound kind of self-explanatory, right? What's the difference there?
You'd think so, right? But in reality, arguments can get way messier than we'd like to admit.
Oh, tell me about it. It's like that junk drawer in my kitchen. I swear there's a system in there somewhere.
That's a perfect analogy. So statement titles are like, imagine those little sticky note labels you use to categorize things. They let you group similar ideas, even if they're worded differently.
Okay, I'm starting to see. So instead of having all these ideas floating around, I can group them under a common theme.
Precisely. Like ArgDown is efficient, and ArgDown saves time. Similar ideas, different wording.
Got it. So the statement title is like the overarching label for those. Makes
Yeah.
sense. But what about the argument titles? Those sound kind of important. So if statement titles are like the sticky note labels, are argument titles kind of like the bigger categories, like the whole junk drawer itself?
You're getting it. Think of them as the headings for the different sections of your argument. Let's say you're trying to make a decision about, I don't know, buying a new car,
Ooh, big decision.
right? So you'd have one section for arguments about cost, another for safety features, maybe one for how cool it looks.
Definitely need that one. But, okay, I'm seeing how that adds organization, especially when there's a lot to consider. But here's the thing. Doesn't it feel like we're already drowning in information these days?
And that's the point. ArgDown isn't about adding complexity. It's about organizing what's already there. You know those research papers that are like 1,000,000 pages long and you get lost halfway through?
Oh, tell me about it. I've written a few.
Even if you don't become like an ArgDown master, just knowing those basics, the pluses and minuses, those statement titles, it gives you a way to break down those huge arguments into smaller pieces.
So it's like what? Mental floss for those tangled arguments. I like it. But earlier you mentioned VS Code, which is like serious tech stuff. Is ArgDown really for everyone or just the coders out there?
No, it's definitely not just for programmers. While it does have really cool integrations for tech stuff, think collaborating on code or writing academic papers, the real power of ArgDown is that it's flexible. Like you can jot down a quick pro-con list in your Notes app just as easily as you can map out a complex legal case.
There's that word again, flexible. You said at the beginning that this is a big difference between ArgDown and other argument mapping tools, but we haven't really dug into that. So what makes ArgDown so flexible?
It all comes back to that text-based foundation. Because it's just plain text, you're not stuck with one specific look or platform. You can export your maps to a bunch of different formats. HTML, PDF, even those visual graphs, if that's your thing.
So even if I'm a visual learner, I can still turn this text stuff into something I can actually see.
Absolutely. Some folks love the simplicity of a plain text map, while others need something more visual. ArgDown lets you do both. Figure out the content and how it all connects first, then worry about how it looks later.
Now that's what I call a win-win.
Mhm.
All this talk about different formats and customization, it makes me wonder, what does ArgDown actually look like in the wild? Like, are there real-life examples of how people are using it?
Oh, tons. For example, in the legal field, lawyers are using it to map out their cases, which helps them find any weak points in their arguments.
Whoa, so it's like a secret weapon for the courtroom. That's pretty intense. But how about something a little more, everyday?
Sure, imagine you're on a team and you're trying to decide whether to, say, launch a new product or something. ArgDown can be used to gather everyone's thoughts and make sure everyone feels heard.
So instead of just a free-for-all, you get a more structured conversation.
Exactly. It can help people disagree respectfully and productively, which is something we could all use a bit more of.
Totally agree. So it's not really about like winning arguments, is it? It's more about having better ones, more productive ones.
100%. It's about creating this space where everyone can understand each other, actually listen and respond thoughtfully.
And who knew, right? All this from these little plus and minus signs. It's kind of wild when you think about it. But it does make you wonder if ArgDown can help us be this clear in like group discussions and stuff, could it also change how we think just by ourselves?
Now, that is a great question. And I think it gets to the heart of what ArgDown is all about. Because it's not just about these big external debates, it's also a tool for understanding how we think, on the inside.
So it's like what, holding up a mirror to our own brains?
Exactly. When you start breaking down arguments, even your own, you see those little flaws, the assumptions you're making, without even realizing it.
Makes you realize we all have those blind spots, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We all have them, but by becoming aware of them, we can start to think more critically,
Yeah.
make more informed decisions.
So it's like, what, a workout, but for your brain.
I like that. It takes practice, but it's worth it.
Well, I have to say, you've definitely given me a whole new perspective on this. I started off thinking, how much of a difference can some text symbols really make?
Uh-huh. I know, right? It seems simple, but it goes deep.
It does. So for anyone listening who's like, okay, ArgDown, I'm intrigued, but where do I even start? What's the one thing you'd want them to take away?
That's a good one. I'd say just remember, clear thinking is powerful. ArgDown is a tool to help with that, but it's up to each of us to actually use it. Start paying attention to how people argue, the claims they make, the reasons they give, and don't be afraid to question things, even your own beliefs.
Think critically, right? About everything. Like there's that old saying, the unexamined life is not worth living. Maybe ArgDown can help us examine our lives and our arguments. Of course, with a little more, precision and clarity.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that's about all the time we have for today. Big thanks to expert speaker for taking us on this deep dive into the world of ArgDown. Until next time, keep those arguments sharp and those minds even sharper.